Welcome back to another episode of the Ball Boys podcast. I am your co-host, Caleb Zuver. Here with me today, once again, my good friend Aleksa Alexa, it's been a little bit. It's been about a good week and a half since we've done our last one. And then, I don't know about you, but I've had some people getting on my case about not uploading a podcast. So it's good to get back and do one of these. How you been lately, buddy? How's school going? How's life been in general for you?
It's been pretty good. A lot of assignments, especially this week. It's been a lot, but thankfully we have a study day on Wednesday, so no 3 classes.
Yeah, Wednesday's a busy day for all of us, for both of us, and it'll be nice to not have class on that day. But a couple things. We're going to get into a lot today since it has been a week and a half. We're going to get into the NFL, we're going to get into NBA, a little college basketball, and then it's rant time. But the biggest news, and really both of our teams I feel like are kind of in the news cycle recently. But obviously there's no bigger news than Carson Wentz going to the Colts for a second-round pick that could – or wait, a third-round pick this year and a second-round pick that could turn into a first next year. And so obviously I have my thoughts on it, but – really, what do you think for both of these teams? Let's not just focus on the Colts here. Let's talk about the Eagles as well.
All right, like you mentioned, let's start with the Colts first. I mean, everybody knew as soon as Philip Rivers retired, they will need a new quarterback. They could be in a case made for moving up and getting a really young quarterback and having him for next 10 to 15 years. But I mean, Wentz is coming in, no injury, fresh, new team, I think way better team, especially with the offensive line. If he stays healthy and has a good year, like 2017, I think, when they won Super Bowl, he's a top 10 quarterback in the league. So not too much given for him, in my opinion, and I like the return that the Eagles got. And from Eagles' side, I mean, I think it was made last year that they were sticking with Jalen Hurts, and it frees up a lot of issues there for them, and they can build around him as well. But I think both teams got what they wanted, and I think Eagles could be disappointed they didn't get much, but for a guy that didn't do nothing 2 years, good return for them.
Yeah, and I think it was, for the Eagles side of things, it was really, really a far-fetched dream that they were going to get 2 first-round picks. That's what they were asking. I mean, no, I don't think anybody was going to give that up for him, and so the Colts kind of just threw out their offer. They said, take it or leave it. We'll have this offer will always be here, but this is all we're giving up. And it worked out. And you're right. It'll be interesting to see what the Eagles do. We would think that they'd be sold on Jalen Hurts, but I don't know. You never know what they're thinking, and I think it's very possible they could move up and take a QB, or take a QB where they're at, not even have to move up. But as far as the Colts go, obviously I have my opinions on it. And I've let them go on Twitter, and my first reaction was, this is about the only option that the Colts had. This was really the only team that could take on Carson Wentz because he's getting paid a lot of money, and Philip Rivers and Jacoby Brissett are off the books for the Colts, so they're not paying him as much, and so we had the salary cap to do it, and we had the coaching staff familiarity. The one thing something that I've seen in recently that I am concerned about, Carson Wentz in Philadelphia refused to kind of throw those underneath crossing routes, those short routes with guys like Jalen Reagor, Deshaun Jackson, kind of fast guys who you can get up in space and let them go run 10, 15 yards. He couldn't throw those accurately. Miles Sanders, who was a good receiving back, he didn't get as many touches out of the backfield because Carson Wentz couldn't throw those balls accurately. And you've seen the clips. Some of his worst throws come from him overthrowing his running back or receiver underneath. And so for guys like Paris Campbell and Michael Pittman Jr., that scares me a little bit because those are their bread and butter right there. For Paris Campbell to run a drag route 5 yards and then run for 15, that's perfect. And Michael Pittman, we saw that this year. He did it against the Packers, where he kind of just took a short pass 5 yards and ran it to the house. Though I hope that Carson Wentz can fix that and Frank Reich can help fix that. Like Nyheim Hines, great receiving back, made a living off of catching out of the backfield. Like, he's going to have to excel in that area first. I think that's part of how he gets fixed and back to that 2017 MVP form. But, at the end of the day, that's something to watch out for. But overall, when you look at it, I think this is a good move for the Colts. It's a step in the right direction. They didn't give up too much, and they got a guy that is going to fulfill the position. And, it's a low-risk, high-reward situation, in my opinion. Could it waste a year off of the Colts championship window? Absolutely. But they didn't give up too much to get him, and they have a chance to, I think, if he plays well enough, they have a chance to compete for the Super Bowl, and that's about all you can ask. But obviously, we just got to see how it plays out. He's got to work, and I think he wants to be great. And I think that if he didn't want to be great, then there's no reason to have him. I think he still has that fire, that passion, and we'll see where that takes him. But as far as your Steelers go, we haven't talked about Pouncey announcing his retirement. I want to get your reaction on that, and then what that means for Big Ben, because really Pouncey and Big Ben have really been tied together throughout their careers since Pouncey got to Pittsburgh. So where do you see the Steelers going from here?
Like you said, Pouncey retirement. He came last week. He came this week, halfway through the week, and it was a little bit sad moment for me because Pouncey's a dog. He's the leader there, and Myles Garrett felt that leadership last year for sure. But 11 years, him and Big Ben were the duo. This is my personal thinking. If that play against Browns didn't happen where he overthrew it, I don't think retirement would be even mentioned. That's what I think. If he didn't overthrow that pass, I think he would have played at least 3 more years. But him and Big Ben and Ramon Foster, former offensive tackle, mentioned this. They have an agreement that they both retire at the same time. And lately, the rumors we've been seeing is that Big Ben might retire. Now, call me crazy, Steeler fans out there. I know a couple are listening. I think that should be the move. And they know how much I will go war with him, with Big Ben. But when it's the time, it's the time. I got to win the Super Bowl now. He did in the past. I want more Super Bowls. So you got to find that quarterback. That's what we got to do. We got to look, draft, trades, free agency, and draft a center. And I like that guy. I think his name is Dickerson from Alabama or Oklahoma. I'm not sure which one.
Alabama.
And so I would target him. But they just got to get better on the offensive side of the ball. Defense is taken care of pretty good. Just if they can add a quarterback, offensive line, I think you put us right back in the Super Bowl talk.
Yeah. I'm going to be honest. I think your take about Pouncey playing 3 years is outrageous, but you are right. You did a good job rebounding from that and saying that Big Ben, it probably is the best move. You're absolutely right about that, no doubt. And, Big Ben hasn't been my favorite quarterback in my lifetime, but he is a Steeler for life, and there's no changing that. But at this point in his career, you really have to wonder, is he ever going to take them back? And I really don't think so. I don't think at this point in his career he's capable of that. And you're right, they need somebody in there to go with this young defense on the other side of the ball. And I love Dickerson out of Alabama. He's a really, really good center. Watched him against Ohio State in the national championship. He was really good. So I think that'd be a good fit there too. But, we'll see. It'd be weird seeing someone other than Big Ben, quarterback the Steelers. It's going to be an adjustment. But we'll see what happens. Like you said, just been rumors. Nothing confirmed yet. But the GM's kind of been dropping hints that he might be on his way out. We don't know, and we'll have to let it play out, but it'll be definitely, and it's already been an interesting offseason for the Steelers, and it will be going forward. And one of the quarterbacks on the market, Deshaun Watson, there's been rumors to him going to the Panthers. Now, I know you think it's going to happen. You've been trying to speak in existence. Where do you see that going? Because me personally, I still don't have any inkling. I'm not sold on the Panthers because the reports I've seen, they need to give up Christian McCaffrey, and I don't know if that's necessarily the right move. But where do you see Watson going, and who do you think the Panthers are the leader in the clubhouse?
First of all, Texans need to stop with those running backs. All right, they traded their best receiver for one. Enough is enough. Listen, like you said, I pictured this. Imagine the backfield of Watson and McCaffrey. They have the draft capital to do it. They have Teddy Bridgewater, who they can trade in to the Houston. I like the fit there, and I think that's where he wants to go. This is just my personal thinking. I can see the Jets, but will the Jets trade at second? That's the question. And more picks. Maybe Dolphins, but I think, and I told you like 20 minutes before we started this, that I actually think it's all going to play out for him to get there to the Panthers.
Yeah, and we'll see if the Houston's okay with giving him Panthers, because again, I've said this on these airwaves before. Houston feels like they're going to keep Deshaun Watson. He's going to be their starting quarterback, and it's going to get ugly. It's going to get ugly. The longer you hold on to him, it's going to get even more ugly. So they need to act fast, in my opinion, and get something before this draft.
Absolutely.
But this is something that I'm just going to let you talk about. I'm not even going to comment because it just irks me. J.J. Watt is a free agent, and you want him to come to Pittsburgh and all this. So go ahead, talk about why he should come to Pittsburgh. But if you actually want to be non-biased about it, talk about what other teams he might fit onto and not just the Steelers all the time, okay?
All right, let's start. So, JJ, listen, bro, if you're listening to this, Pittsburgh is the place to come. Listen, you told on Twitter that you want to play with your brothers one time in career. Where are they at now? In Pittsburgh. You got to come. We need you. You know you want to be there. Now, non-bias. J.J. Watt to Steelers is my own second team. My first team, I see Packers, homecoming. He play college football, Wisconsin. And I really think if he wants to play a lot, Packers are going to use him the most than the Steelers. The talks with Browns, I think that is so bad. That is such a betrayal.
As Stephen A. Smith would say, an act of betrayal toward his family.
That I can see, I can picture, and I just don't think he would want to go on their rival that is starting to heat up and could turn ugly in next year. So come to Pittsburgh. Just what's right for you, and make me smile once in time.
Well, yeah, like I said, Stephen A. Smith said if he goes to the Browns, it would be an act of betrayal toward his family. Thanksgivings would be ruined, Christmases, all that stuff. That's what he said, and I thought that was super funny. I was laughing when Stephen A. was ranting about that. You know, Stephen A. gives some pretty bad takes from time to time, but he's always funny. And let's move to the NBA. I'll just put in my 2 cents about the Cavs lately. They stink again. And I think a couple podcasts ago I came on and said, this team's on the way up. They could make the playoffs. They're probably not going to make the playoffs now, but it doesn't change these games that this kind of stretch. It doesn't change my opinion that they're on the right track, that they're going the right way. And I am still encouraged by what I see from this young core, and Kevin Love's coming back soon, which is good news. And I don't think it's time to shift my opinion that they're on the wrong track and they knew this, knew that. No, they're fine, and they need to keep playing and kind of get out of this stretch where they've been playing some really good teams like the Lakers, the Clippers, the Nuggets, the Nets. Like they just need to get out of it, and we'll be all right, and we're gonna find a way. And I haven't lost faith at all, and I'm still really excited. And Colin Sexton came out in the media the other day and said, look, I need to start shooting more threes, which I think he does. He does need to shoot. He said 5 to 7. I think that's a perfect number. He needs to start shooting more threes for this team to space the floor out a little bit for him. But go ahead and talk about your Mavericks a little bit. They've been kind of on pause here.
Yeah, Mavs haven't played in a completely week. They were supposed to play Pistons Wednesday, got canceled. Outrage in Texas. And same in Houston. It got canceled. Next game is Monday. But overall, Mavs stinked, to be quite honest.
Stunk. Absolutely stunk.
And they're getting better. Last 3 games, my boy, Luka, 140-something points over 3 game span. I mean, he's taking on the leadership. He wants to win, and he doesn't care about the stats. And sadly, he has to take over those games because nobody on that team besides KP is not capable of being clutch. But they just gotta. They're still in playoff contention. I mean, and I think they'll make it. They just gotta play better basketball. And Jalen Brunson, my boy, coming over the bench is great for him. He should be a starter, and if he's traded, he will be starter on half of the NBA rosters. But bench place is perfect for him. That's the perfect role, like Lou Williams' role for him. But I'm encouraged. They won like 4 out of 6. I'm encouraged from what I saw in that stretch.
Yeah. And you talking about Luka will shift us into the All-Star selection and what the starters and what we think of that. And I don't know if you're going to like this, Alexa.
Oh, here we go.
But I think Damian Lillard should have been a starter over Luka. I do. And my reasoning is this. Look, I think Luka's my MVP pick, right? And he is having a great year. There's no doubt about it. But Damian Lillard is putting up just the same amount of points, the same amount of assists, and he's been better in crunch time than Luka. And he has this team in a better position than Luka does. Now, does it mean in my NBA overall rankings that I'm going to put Damian Lillard over Luka? I don't know if I'd do that, but I don't think Damian Lillard is getting the respect he deserves, and it shows up time and time again when we don't vote him into the All-Star starters, and I think he absolutely deserves it this year. He's gone above and beyond. CJ McCollum's been hurt for a ton of games, and he just keeps putting on a show night in and night out. And so I want to hear your thoughts on that. And if you disagree, explain, because I am a little interested to kind of debate you on this because I really do think Dame deserved that spot.
Okay, so Luka did get voted, but this is my thing. If they're looking at the stats, this is just my thing. If they're looking at the stats, they have both same amount of points. It's like 28.3, 28.9. Mm-hmm. So we're going to circle same. Luka has like way more rebounds and assists. And what I'm saying is they're both great. Damian Lillard is amazing. Honestly, for Luka, I honestly will care less. I want the title.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm sure everyone would, yeah.
And I think at the same time, they let fans vote. And especially since Luka made his name in Europe, that's where a lot of votes come in to favor Luka and Jokic over Dame.
And I think when you talk about that, it's also important to know that Damian Lillard plays in Portland.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Portland is not a glamorous city. It doesn't get much attention. They don't get televised a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that's absolutely a valid point that you bring up. But to me, Damian Lillard, the disrespect has gone on far too long, in my opinion. And I think it was a little disappointing he was not a starter. But although I do get it, and I'm not outraged. I don't think it's anything that we should storm the NBA selection offices. We shouldn't storm Adam Silver's office because of it. I don't. But I think it was just a little disappointing to see Dame not in the starting lineup. So we're almost done here. We'll touch on this. So I'll go ahead and take the reins on this one since you kind of took the reins on the Watson and J.J. Watt stuff. Jalen Johnson decided that he's not going to play for Duke anymore for the rest of the 2021 season. And, obviously my initial thought is like, golly, like, why'd you have to do that? Why? Like, we're 3 weeks left in the season, not even 2 weeks left in the season. Like, why now? And I was a little frustrated. But at the end of the day, is it really quitting if, one, he's not getting paid for it? He's doing this for free. He's playing for free. And is it really that big of a deal? Because he's getting ready for the NBA anyway, and he doesn't really need college basketball anymore. He showed the NBA scouts what he could do in his games that he had this year. There was nothing else that he had to prove. Duke realistically is not making the tournament as it stands right now, unless they beat Virginia tonight, which I'm hoping they do. But he doesn't have anything to prove, and the people outraged by it, you know, I understand it, but I don't agree with it because this is his call. This is him and his camp's call. This is what they want to do, and it's not for us to sit here and judge whether it's right or wrong. It's his decision. He's got money on the line in the NBA. He didn't want to risk injury, all that stuff. One of my first reactions was like, what does this say about Zion 2 years ago? He injured his knee against North Carolina when his shoe blew out. I don't know if any of you remember that. And he could have easily just packed it in, right? And he could have easily just said, I'm done. I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm going to be the number one pick. I don't want to risk it. But he came back and put on a show in the ACC tournament, helped Duke make a deep tournament run. So that, you know, as a Duke fan, that was kind of like, when I look back on that now, I have a little more appreciation for that. But that doesn't make what Jalen Johnson doing, what he's doing is wrong. To me, it doesn't, because it's his decision. He's got money on the line. He's got money at stake. His future at stake, and I think people just need to lay off. So now let's go into rant time. You're up first. So Alexa, go ahead, lay it out there.
Ladies and gentlemen, tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern, Mr. Captain Sidney Crosby is playing his 1,000th career game. We can get into it if he was healthy. He'll be over this 2 years ago. He would make his 1,000th game. But let's get to the point of this rant time. I've seen so many NHL reporters writing stupid articles about how it's time for the Penguins to trade Sidney Crosby. You know what? I understand it. You gotta worry about your future, right? But listen to me. How are you going to write in your article that we should trade him to Philadelphia Flyers?
The cross-state rival. Preposterous.
Rangers. Avalanche. We are better than Flyers right now. I don't care about standings. That's just like LeBron is in NBA. Whatever happens regular season, come playoff time, that's when you watch out for Penguins.
Yep.
That is so stupid. That is never going to happen. They're saying that Penguins' new GM already talked. He came out, said that's lie. Crosby came out, that's a lie. And they still keep on pushing. They're adding more teams like Boston Bruins. Boston Bruins, who in 2012 playoff, Crosby wanted to beat up by himself, go against Zdeno Chara. Really, and Capitals. And listen to this, they wrote a Capitals.
Oh, God. Pair Ovechkin and Crosby.
In Pittsburgh, maybe.
No.
Not there.
Oh.
So that is so stupid what they write, and I ask them, please nicely, stop writing those. It's not going to happen. You're not going to entertain me with 2-3 first-round picks. Only guy I might trade Crosby right now is Connor McDavid.
And they won't do that.
And that's it. Because Penguins will benefit. Everything else doesn't make sense. Let's just leave it at that.
All right. Mine might be short. I don't know how long this is going to go. But so Anthony Edwards last night had an insane dunk.
Crying.
Insane dunk. And it was just one of the best dunks I've ever seen. And so I, logging on Twitter, watching it over and over again, I come across a tweet that said, Anthony Edwards finished 3 of 14 from the field tonight, but nice dunk though. And is this guy, I think his name was Duncan Smith, NBA writer. To me, he's an NBA nerd, because you're real fun at parties. How are you gonna sit there and because Anthony Edwards didn't have a great game, be like that dunk doesn't matter? I'm sorry. I don't care whether he won or lost the game. That dunk will be played on highlight reels for the rest of time. That's how insane that dunk was. Don't come on here and try to crap on that dunk by saying he had a bad game. I could care less. There's role players who have thrown down insane dunks that probably finished. That was probably their only field goal attempt of the game. I don't care. I still watch those highlights to this day. I could care less. Anthony Edwards, how many shots he made last night. I don't even know who won the game.
Honestly.
I don't care. All I care is about seeing that and saying, wow, like that's a great play. instead of rushing to Twitter and saying how the number 1 overall pick should be better. Like, come on, dude. Like, there are far bigger problems in the world to worry about than that. Than him going 3 of 14 from the field. Like, be happy that you got to watch some greatness instead of just going and typing on your keyboard and saying, oh, well, he wasn't very efficient. What's his wins above replacement? Like, nobody cares. We just care about that dunk because it was so cool. Anyway, so sorry I got a little aggressive and yelled, but that's rant time.
Get things from the chest.
And by the way, Aleksa, you spelled rant, R-E-N-T. That's rent. It's rant on our paper. Okay, now that we got that fixed, it's shout out time now. So who are you going to give a shout out to this week?
Simple, my boy, Tyler Peters from work. Tyler, listen, I don't know what I was going to say anyways, but shout out to you.
My shout out's going to the Bryan girls basketball team. They play in their sectional final game tonight versus St. Mary's. Really hoping that they can get to districts. This could be a special run for the Lady Bears. And hopefully they take care of business tonight. So shout out Coach Good, Reese Grotehouse, all the girls on the team. Hopefully they can get a big win tonight and keep their tournament hopes alive. And it stinks. Reese Grouse, good friend of mine, tore her ACL earlier this year, so it stinks that she can't play in it because she's really, really good. But I know she'll be cheering. So shout out to them. Shout out to the whole team. And Aleksa, you got anything else to add before we take off?
Thanks for the support, and we'll keep updating here with more NFL crazy moves and how I take it.
When he talks about NFL crazy moves, he just means J.J. Watt to the Steelers.
Yes.
That's all he means, guys. He
The
doesn't
lock
mean
screen.
anything else other than that.
I know you guys can't see, but the lock screen has been updated.
It's just T.J. Watt and J.J. Watt.
In a Steeler uniform.
So you're going to disrespect Derek Watt like that and not even put him in? Okay, and that'll wrap things up. Thank you for tuning in to the Ball Boys podcast. And until next time, we'll see you.